Okay, do websites really sell? What a stupid question. A few of you might think. You bought things over the internet. You booked holiday trips on the internet. So it's some sort of selling. Yes? No? To answer that question, we have to switch to the old-fashioned offline world of sales talks and sellers. Which connotations do you have with sellers and salespeople? Perhaps the guys when you're entering the shop and they are hiding behind the desk. Great, you're lucky. You have all the time you need. You can walk around, have a look at the offerings. That's great. Or the other category of sellers or shop assistants, the guys who ask you a question. May I help you? Can I do something for you? Okay, if you say yes, then they might start to talk. Talk too much. And then they impose you to buy things you don't really need or really want. Fortunately, there are other categories of sellers. Sellers who try to help you, give you recommendations, and they are trying to find the right solution for you. And perhaps they do have a pleasant personality as well. So, when going back 15 years, I bought a road bicycle, and I made that experience. I enjoyed talking to that guy. The guy was extremely competent, and I'm still happy with that bike. But that's just an anecdote. That's my personal perspective. Do other people think the same way? Do other people think knowledge is good? Do other people think the personality is influencing them to buy? Okay, guess 3 times the price for a research project. Last year, I sent 52 students to do shopping. They pretended to buy a TV set based on a detailed guideline, based on a mystery shopping concept. So in total, I got 192 sales talks, and they had to complete an extremely detailed questionnaire to evaluate the knowledge of the seller or the shop assistant, the personality of the seller, the shop assistant, the communication atmosphere, the communication techniques, and of course, sales tricks. Now, surprisingly for me and for all the other people, the #1 factor influencing the buying decision was not the personality, the pleasant personality, talking to a nice guy. Perhaps at the end of the sales talk, you will love that guy. You will go with him or her for a beer or 2 or 3. It's up to you. Or it was not the pleasant communication atmosphere. And if you look into all the books about selling, they tell you the 100 perfect closing the deal tricks. Unfortunately for these authors, not the sales tricks. It was the #1, the knowledge. What does that mean, knowledge? Knowledge, the ability of a seller or a shop assistant to explain the product, to find out what you really need, and to make the right recommendations. Means that you're not only happy right now with the product, you should be happy with the product in 3, 4, 5 years. And when thinking back, that was my example, the road bike, when thinking back, you still remember that sales talk and you're still happy. Okay, that's knowledge. But back to the question, do websites really sell? And what has that to do with websites? Fortunately, I didn't discover a website during the past few years who wanted to talk to me. I don't know whether that is good or bad, but until now, websites are quiet. So what could you expect? You could expect that you will find recommendations. You could expect you will find user profiles that you have the ability to answer your own question. Is that specific product for me? Do I want to use that? Does it fulfill my requirements? You should expect something like that. And with the existing technologies, of course, it's possible to do something like that. So let's have a look at one website. Perhaps you would like to buy a laptop. I visited one website. I did not spend much time searching the internet. That is a typical website. And of course, you want to find the answers I mentioned before. Is that product for me? What can I do with the product? Does it fulfill all my requirements? Let's have a look. XYZ, built for extreme performance. That's great, eh? Giving you lightning fast access. Does that answer your question? Is it for me? No. Nice marketing buzzwords, nothing else. Next one. Rich images. Optional discrete graphics, intense professional tasks. Could be everything, could be for everybody, but still doesn't answer your question, is it for me and what can I do with that? And of course, let's have a look at the entire page. Many technical terms. If you dig into the details, you will find specifications, which processor, which graphic card, which hard disk, how many RAM, but unfortunately, too many technical terms, no explanation. And if you're a newbie, and if you're not so interested in laptops, you will not find the answer, is it for me? And how can I use it? Back to the question, do websites really sell? No, that website doesn't sell. That website doesn't give you a recommendation. That website doesn't help you to make the right decision. Okay, another example. Let's switch to a different product. Let's buy a headset. And perhaps you start your decision-making process with visiting the biggest online shop's homepage. You're looking for a headphone. And you find something like that. You will find a link, the right headphone, and you double-click the link, and then you will find something like that. Okay, is it wireless? Okay, wireless. Do I need a wireless phone? Noise cancelling. What means noise cancelling? Is noise cancelling something like that? If you like classical music and you think techno music is noise, then it cancels techno music. Great. Then, okay, that is the right headphone for me. Okay, what you will do? Now, you start searching the internet. What is noise cancelling? Is it really canceling techno music, or is it something else? Is that for me? Do I need that noise canceling? Is it a good feature? Is it an expensive feature? Or is it a feature I do not need? So therefore, you're lost. And you end up at the end of the evening, after a few hours searching the internet, spending the entire evening in front of your computer, and you got nothing. Are you closer to the decision, what is the right headphone for me? No. Perhaps if you're lucky, and if you like to make fast decisions, then you might be close to that decision, but you might think by yourself, okay, I'll wait till tomorrow in the morning or tomorrow in the evening, and perhaps I will find a better alternative. I will search the rest of the internet, and you proceed next evening, next week, next month, and then you're in the middle of what I call a self-sales talk. Why a self-sales talk? Compared to the old-fashioned offline world, there is somebody who helps you, somebody who gives you recommendations. In the online world, nobody really helps you. So what you're doing is you're starting an endless cycle, more or less endless cycle. You try to find out what your real needs are. You're acquiring additional information, and you try to find out what is the best product for me, what is the best solution. And perhaps if you're close to making that decision, then once again, you start. Perhaps I will find a better shop, a better alternative, and perhaps I will find an additional review. That's great. That is an extremely time-consuming process. And to be honest, for me, I went through that process at the beginning of the year, and for me, it is extremely annoying. It is an enormous waste of time for me. And when I finally made the decision, I thought by myself, do other people think the same way? Do other people think it is an extremely annoying process? Okay, guess 3 times cries for another research project. I developed a very simple research design, and I wanted to find out whether people spend that much time and whether they think it is an annoying process or perhaps they like that. Okay, why is online shopping so popular? Let's have a look. Big surprise. 68% prepare their buying decision accurately. So they show the same behavior. What they are doing, they try to find out what these technical terms mean, because the websites and the online shops do not often explain to you what that specific specification really means. Is it good? Is it bad? Or is it just something else? Okay, 65% are not in a hurry. If it takes half a year, if it takes more time, they have all the time, or they take all the time it needs to make the right decision. So the same behavior. But now, big surprise for me. 65% of the interviewees don't think it's a waste of time. So I was really surprised, because for me, it's a waste of time. Because I like to make my decision, my buying decision, within a short time frame, as short as possible, and I hate it, looking for all the specifications and trying to find out what these specifications mean. But 75% of the interviewees told me it's not a waste of time. And 57% think it's not an annoying activity. So they more or less enjoy it. That was interesting for me. That was really interesting. And, big surprise, 50% enjoy acquiring a more or less enormous amount of information. That's interesting. They enjoy it, they like it. It's big fun searching the internet, finding out new sources, searching for new reviews, and so on, and so on, and so on. Okay. Online shopping, did you get something? It has a lot to do with knowledge. Knowledge was the number one in the old-fashioned offline sales or sellers world, and knowledge is an extremely important issue in the online world because you have access to the internet, to the entire internet, and you decide when it's time to stop. And why is it so funny? Why people enjoy that and why people do not think it's a waste of time? For me, it's a self-reflecting learning cycle. And you get immediate rewards for that. Because at the end of the evening, you learn something about yourself. You have an idea what your real needs are. You found additional reviews. You went through the customer ratings. You found out what other customers think, what they like, what they don't like. And perhaps at the end of the evening, you found a shop with the lowest price level ever. And that is great. Lowest price level and learning about yourself. So the number one reason why people shop on the internet was price and the great portfolio you have. An enormous amount of different products. These were number two and number one. But not only the price. If you look at the results, it's the learning cycle. What you learn about yourself, and it's really funny to learn something about yourself. Okay, and one question at the end. I thought, that was my own experience or my own thought, if you had all the information on one side, would you buy more? People said, no, we don't want to buy more. We like that, we love that, we like to search the internet. That's great. So another aspect of how funny it is to learn something about yourself. Okay. What is my statement? People do not even have an idea how a website could look like a website that sells. Because they are used to existing designs and existing marketing buzzwords and specifications, so they do not think about redesign. And that reminds me of the 2007 presentation of the iPhone. At that time, people liked the typical standard smartphones with the plastic keyboards and the little screens. And they were happy with these smartphones. And then Steve Jobs came and said, oh, I have the iPhone, a big screen, no plastic keyboard, and a totally new smartphone. experience. I hope we will expect something in the future, rethinking web design and make or develop websites which are really selling. So therefore, please, in the meantime, enjoy your endless self-sales talk. Please do not get lost in the internet, and thank you very much for your attention.